Alright, what is up guys? It is KRAT7435 here. I'm back with another good video for you guys today. I will be talking about Mr. Edgar Berlanga to be set to face against Mr. Steve Rolls, aka Dinner Rolls. For those of you that don't know, I call him Dinner Rolls because Steve Rolls, he's not really that good of a fighter. And I think as far as, like what he brings to the table, he's basically a dinner rolls for somebody to, eat and basically snack on to be a, easy style matchup victory. But yeah, Edgar Berlanga, he'll be facing off against Mr. Steve Rolls, aka Dinner Rolls, and I think this is a very easy style matchup. I don't really see anything special out of Steve Rolls that's going to give Berlanga any trouble, but I can understand like why Steve Rolls was a possible good tune-up fight for Edgar Berlanga to come back and like rehash his skills back at 168. And believe it or not, 168 is actually going to become a glamorous division because now that we've been hearing some decent reports or some, possible reports that Jamal Charlo he'll be considering to move up to 168 instead of staying at 160, mainly due to the fact that he cannot make 160 anymore. And I believe that was co-signed by his trainer Ronnie Shields. But I think based off of like what we've seen from, you know, like I'll basically say, from like what we've seen from Jamal Charlo's progression at 160, Jamal Charlo has a better scaling to fight at 168 and become the man that beats everyone at 168, if that makes a lot of sense. Because I think Jamal Charlo is still the goods, even though he is not as fully disciplined as he used to be. And I think that's just mainly due to him being heavily domesticated to the famous, lifestyle that a lot of fighters get themselves into. Like when they start getting paid big money in the pros, and they don't really take good care of their bodies, and they end up doing a lot of dumb decision making in their fights. And I don't know, like honestly, I think how everything goes, in the boxing world, you have to live boxing, and I truly believe that like what happens in boxing, it stays in boxing. And I think how everything has been shown in the sport of boxing, you have to have a proper, decision making, in and out the ring to make yourself very successful. And I think how everything has been scaled between fighters that are actually disciplined versus fighters that are not disciplined, it pretty much shows that fighters that are not disciplined usually end up being failures. And don't get it twisted. I mean, there are certain fighters that are able to do that type of, possible, like, like, how should I say? There are fighters out there that are, like, how should I say, that are those type of fighters that come back from being undisciplined to being disciplined. Like, I'll just use Errol Spence as a great example. And EJ, he's pretty much shown that, after his car accident and him going through all this undisciplinary action of him not taking his career seriously, that's what made Errol Spence a lot more successful, and he was able to do a lot better things in his career to make himself a more valuable fighter for him to be like, how should I say, more heavily skilled throughout his career. So I mean, honestly, I think as far as what Jamal Charlo's career has gone, Jamal Charlo has done enough to solidify his own legacy. And I think, what Jamal Charlo has tried to do is that Jamal Charlo has tried to do enough to scale himself to the next level. And I mean, don't get it twisted. Like, I mean, Jamal Charlo, very good fighter. He likes to bang a lot on the inside, but I think how Jamal Charlo has been doing things throughout his own career is just that Jamal Charlo, he's just not that type of fighter where he actually does a lot of things very intelligent. And I think he puts himself in a really bad position where he really tries to bang it out with you and he doesn't, like really, put himself in a proper position to make the fight easier. He likes to take a lot of unnecessary risk in a fight. But as far as this fight between Berlanga and Steve Rolls, as that was supposed to be the topic, I think this is a good matchup coming back. Obviously, Berlanga went tooth and nail with Marcelo Coceres. That was the Argentinian fighter that he had fought on the Wilder Fury 3 undercard. And I thought that was a good fight. I thought, like what, Coceres brought to the table was that Coceres was a very difficult style matchup, just simply due to him being a puncher himself. But on top of that, giving Berlanga a real fight where Coceres, he was a type of fighter where he likes to brawl himself too, but on top of that, he's not going to go down. He's not going to go down easily. And, if you're going to take him down, he's going to bring you with him. AKA, he's going to, give you a very hard tooth and nail type of fight. And that's what Berlanga did to, Coceres. And Coceres, he brought the best out of Berlanga. And Berlanga, he looked really bad in that fight against Coceres. Coceres did manage to drop Berlanga, and Berlanga, he got touched up. He got, badly banged up in that fight, and that fight, was like a really, really difficult fight to the point where, Berlanga, he could have actually lost that fight. And some people had said that, he could have actually, basically Berlanga could have arguably lost that fight. If you actually, just take a look at the fighting film. But I don't know. Like, I think honestly, just how things have gone in boxing, robberies do exist. And I will say, like, if Coceres would have gotten the nod instead of Berlanga, I wouldn't have been mad about that because Coceres, he looked like he was actually making a huge comeback to win. Berlanga, he did decent for the first, 4 or 5 rounds, but then after that, it was just kind of like Coceres' uphill battle that he tried to do to, make it a tough competitive fight. And, yeah. Like, that's pretty much how I saw that fight between Berlanga and Coceres. So, I don't know. Honestly, I think how this fight will go down is that Steve Rose is going to do the same thing what Coceres tried to do to Berlanga. But he's going to try to press action early. And Berlanga, he's going to have to try to utilize his boxing IQ. And if he cannot utilize his boxing IQ against Steve Rose is going to have greater success on the inside against Berlanga. I think Berlanga is very susceptible to the chin. And I think what Steve Rolls is going to do is that he's going to find that one big shot to try to hurt Berlanga. And if he hurts Berlanga to the point where Berlanga, he shows a lot of discomfort and he shows a lot of bad psychological discomfort against Steve Rolls. Because Steve Rolls, he isn't like a big puncher, but he can definitely crack. He has like semi okay, punching power to give Berlanga, some decent respect. But I think, like if Steve Rolls presses, the action on Berlanga and Berlanga is not able to handle, the early game pressure that's going to get him tired late game, then I think Steve Rolls can give him some problems. But I don't see that happening. I think Berlanga, he should win this fight. Just simply because, this is supposed to be like a tune-up level fight. So it's not like Berlanga, was ever supposed to really be put in a situation to lose. And I think Steve Rolls is that type of guy where Berlanga is supposed to win. But anything could happen in boxing because this is boxing. This is not like the NBA or any other sport. So I think how everything should go down in this fight is just that Berlanga, he should be the victor because Top Rank owns him, and therefore Berlanga's supposed to be this next big thing. So in Bob Arum's eyes, he should be seeing Berlanga at the top by beating lesser known opposition, aka like a Triple G. So let's just hope that doesn't go that way, but I kind of do see how that's being played out. But let me know what you guys think. Steve Rolls versus Edgar Berlanga. Do you think this is a good style matchup? Do you think this is a good coming back type of fight for Berlanga? And who do you think Berlanga is going to fight next if he is able to get past Steve Rolls? I will say Steve Rolls is either a C plus type of level fighter or a B minus level type of fighter. So I don't know how this will scale well on his resume, but this is a good little veteran level competition for Berlanga to build himself to that next level opposition. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. That's pretty much it. Shout out to the mighty, mighty LDBC, and shout out to Miss Ashley's Corner. That is a source that I got from her. Please go check her out. She's the most awesome lady in the world. Love that woman to the day I die. Shout out to Ashley's Corner, Miss Beautiful Ashley's Corner. She's a great YouTuber. Go check her out. And yeah, that's about it. I will see you guys later, and have a good night. Bye.